You are listening to the South America Brief. I'm Camila Perez, your virtual information influencer, guiding you through market data trends and stories from the vibrant economies of Latin and South America. Hola, and welcome to the South America Brief, your window into the markets, movements, and mindsets shaping Latin America. I'm Camila Perez, Market Intelligence Specialist at InfoBrokerworld, speaking to you from Mexico City. Today, we're heading to Argentina, a country where tourism has always been more than an industry. It's an emotional thermometer, a reflection of how people feel about their economy, their country, and the world beyond. August 2025 offered an especially revealing snapshot. Domestic tourism is climbing again, while international travel continues to contract. And within those numbers, we find the story of a nation balancing resilience with economic pressure. According to Argentina's National Institute of Statistics and Censuses, INDEC, 3.35 million overnight stays were recorded in hotels and para-hotel establishments across the country in August 2025. That's a 1.8% increase compared to August of the previous year. Yet the composition of those stays tells a more complex story. Overnights by Argentine residents rose by 4.2%, while those by foreign visitors fell by 6.5%. Overall, the country hosted 1.45 million travelers that month, about 1.17 million domestic and 280,000 international. That's a 6.6% increase in local guests, but a 4.1% drop in foreigners. The national room occupancy rate stood at 39.7%, rising to 43.1% on weekends. The average stay length was 2.3 nights, slightly shorter than last year. When we look at where travelers are staying, 3-star hotels, apart hotels, and boutique accommodations account for roughly a third of all stays, about 33%, followed closely by 4- and 5-star hotels, which make up 32.3%. These higher-end hotels also show the highest room occupancy, reaching nearly 49% nationwide. The rest of the market, roughly 18%, is covered by smaller establishments, cabins, hostels, and rural lodgings that have become increasingly popular with younger and cost-conscious travelers. Regionally, the southern region of Patagonia remains the country's tourism powerhouse, responsible for 30.4% of all overnights, a healthy 7.3% increase year-on-year. The city of Buenos Aires, by contrast, accounted for 19.7%, but saw a 6.5% decline. The littoral region grew by almost 8%, while Córdoba province surged by 18%, showing strong post-pandemic recovery in its cultural and event tourism. Among Argentina's top destinations, Bariloche led with more than 72,500 guests, followed by Puerto Iguazú with 51,800, Mar del Plata with nearly 50,000, Mendoza and Córdoba each around 40,000, and Salta close behind with 37,000 visitors. These figures show that mid-sized urban centers and natural attractions are the country's new travel drivers. Now, turning to the international perspective, the contrast is striking. According to INDEC's Estadísticas de Turismo Internacional, 664,500 foreign visitors entered Argentina in August 2025. Among them, 397,500 were tourists who stayed at least one night. That's a 5% drop compared to 2024. Meanwhile, 1.36 million Argentines traveled abroad during the same month, a 48.5% increase year-over-year. In tourism terms, that means a negative travel balance of 696,700 people leaving the country more than entering it. Where did these international visitors come from? Nearly 30% came from Brazil, 17% from Uruguay, and 10% from Chile. Europe contributed around 11%, while the United States and Canada together made up 6%. Most visitors, about 55%, arrived by air, while 33% came overland and 12% by sea. The airports Ezeiza and Aeroparque Jorge Newbery in Buenos Aires handled 82% of all air arrivals, confirming how central the capital remains to Argentina's inbound tourism. On the spending side, the gap widens even further. Foreign visitors generated $246.9 million in tourism revenue in August 2025, while Argentine travelers abroad spent $618.9 million. The average daily expenditure of non-resident tourists was $83.6 per person, though there were large differences by nationality. Brazilians spent an average of $117 a day, Chileans around $95, and Europeans about $100. And here's where it gets interesting. In Bariloche, one of Argentina's most visited winter destinations, non-resident tourists spend an average of $207 per day, mainly on accommodation, dining, and snow-related leisure activities. Meanwhile, domestic travelers spent significantly less, with average daily expenses below $60, reflecting the impact of inflation and the erosion of local purchasing power. Despite this, some destinations show encouraging resilience. Buenos Aires City reported an average hotel occupancy of 59% in August, boosted by a long holiday weekend that attracted 91,000 visitors. Córdoba province registered over 830,000 tourists during the July-August period, driven by winter events and domestic flights. Posadas in Misiones province had a 43.7% occupancy rate with 26,775 overnight stays, slightly down by about 5% year-on-year. And in Santiago del Estero, the famous thermal destination Termas de Rio Hondo reached nearly 92% occupancy during peak winter holidays, one of the highest rates in the country. Still, not everything is positive. Industry representatives speak of a dual-speed tourism recovery. Leisure destinations, especially nature and mountain regions, are thriving, while urban business tourism and international arrivals continue to struggle. Argentina's Hotel Association estimates that up to 20% of hotels in major cities face reduced bookings compared to last year, citing recession, lower business travel, and a heavy tax burden, where roughly 60% of each hotel bill goes to taxes. According to the Business Chamber CAME, the 2025 winter holiday season attracted 4.3 million travelers, about 11% fewer than in 2024. The average stay length dropped to 3.9 days, the lowest in 3 years. Analysts warn that nearly 300,000 tourism jobs could be at risk if the trend continues through the end of the year. Yet behind these figures lies a deeper narrative. Tourism has become a mirror of how Argentines navigate economic uncertainty. Despite inflation running above 120% annually, many families still choose to travel, but smarter, shorter, and cheaper. Weekend getaways have replaced long vacations abroad. Local gastronomy, hiking, and cultural festivals have replaced luxury shopping and long-haul flights. It's an economy adapting and, in a way, reinventing itself. At the same time, international arrivals reflect the global context. Travel demand from Europe and North America remains cautious, shaped by inflation, exchange rates, and geopolitical uncertainty. Meanwhile, regional markets like Brazil and Uruguay, though still dominant, are cooling slightly after years of steady growth. So, what does all this tell us? It tells us that Argentina's tourism model is shifting from dependence on international inflows to a more domestically driven ecosystem. It's becoming less about luxury and more about local connection. But the financial imbalance, a tourism deficit of over $370 million in August alone, shows how fragile this transition remains. Looking ahead, the challenge is balance. How to sustain the enthusiasm of local travelers while rebuilding Argentina's international competitiveness. That means investing in air connectivity, easing tax pressure on the hospitality industry, and promoting regional diversity beyond Buenos Aires. It also means rethinking tourism as part of the broader economic recovery, not just as a leisure sector, but as a strategic industry capable of generating employment, exports, and regional development. Argentina's August 2025 data paints a vivid picture of a country in motion, cautious, creative, and resilient. A nation where, despite economic headwinds, people continue to move, explore, and participate in one of the few rituals that still bring them joy and belonging. I'm Camila Perez, and this was the South America Brief, powered by InfoBrokerworld. Thank you for listening. And remember, behind every data point, there's a human story. Behind every statistic, a landscape, a business, a community. I'll see you in the next episode. Hasta pronto. Thanks for tuning in to the South America Brief. For more details, links, and further insights, check out the show notes. By the way, I am 100% AI generated. My voice was created with 11 Labs, and I'm here to bring you curated knowledge with a human touch. This podcast is powered by InfoBrokerWorld, your partner for market intelligence and custom research on Latin America. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious. Hasta luego.